Did you know that Ben Affleck was dating her, and for some odd reason, Ben Affleck dumped her to go out with a 50-some-year-old J-Lo? I'll never understand that. What's up everybody, Adrian here, back with another video. This time we're gonna take a look again at the new Batman trailer, because at first, when it came out, I was excited, everybody was excited, and when I watched it, my adrenaline was running, my emotions were high, and I was kind of like blinded, and when I looked at it, I was like, everything's cool, everything's awesome, but then I gave it like, almost a week now for the dust to settle, for my emotions to calm down, my adrenaline has run out, and now we can re-break down the trailer with a more clear mind. Okay, so basically it starts out with obviously the Riddler, and he's about to get arrested. Now right away, this has been done before, where the villain is just waiting to get captured. It's all part of his master plan to get caught, but then later on he's always gonna escape somehow. So this is nothing unique right away. So he's like raising his hand like, yep, you got me, I'm not gonna fight you. So then they arrest him, and then of course they linger, I think a little too long now, on this cup, and of course it's a question mark because of the Riddler. Does this belong in this type of movie that's supposed to be very dark and dreary and super grounded? The Riddler sitting there waiting to be caught, and he's just like, oh, I'm gonna stick my finger in the coffee. Did he even drink it? I don't know, and I'm gonna methodically and carefully make a perfect question mark. Again, now here's a problem everybody's like, noticing. When he gets shot point blank and he just takes it, and later in the trailer is going to be a lot worse, but I liked it. In this situation it was fine because he shot him right in that little metal part, so it's okay. And this scene right here, when you can't understand really what Batman's saying, but he's saying, what have you done? I'm willing to hold my judgment yet, because we haven't heard long enough sentences to really hear his voice talking as Batman. So it's not gonna be like Christian Bale, raspy, mumbling. We don't know yet. It might not be modulated like Ben Affleck was. So I still need to hear him clearly speak to like Commissioner Gordon and see how he sounds. Okay. So obviously the Riddler is gonna escape. Same old story like with the Joker. Here is the first glimpse in this trailer of Bruce Wayne. And I agree with the majority of people. This does not look like Bruce Wayne. But then again, this is year 2. So everyone's expecting him to be the, playboy billionaire, driving luxurious cars, dating models, making it rain. But you gotta understand the mindset that Batman's in. First, he starts out all dark and dreary and emo, as everyone points out, because there's a lot of shit on his mind going on. He has to deal with the Riddler, thugs in Gotham, with corruption in Gotham, parents being dead, and the connection that the Riddler is trying to point out that maybe it's all his dad's fault that all this is going on. So I don't think that he's in the mood to be acting like a spoiled rich kid right now. But in the sequel, if you show a contrast where he's acting like your typical rich billionaire Bruce Wayne, then that's fine. But again, the hair, pale look is not really saying Bruce Wayne. If I just showed you this clip and didn't say it was a Batman movie, you wouldn't know who this person was. Definitely you wouldn't say, oh yeah, that's Bruce Wayne, no problem. Now we get to Catwoman, Zoe Kravitz. What is she, like 5'3" on a good day, with heels, 95 pounds, soaking wet, and she's supposed to go up against, big brutal thugs? And she's just knocking them out with one punch or kicking them and then go flying across the room. I get there's suspension of disbelief, but I don't know if this is pushing it too much. I'm supposed to believe that this little girl is fighting this man or multiple men, and she's supposed to win. Many people actually pointed this out, that maybe Zoe Kravitz wasn't the best choice. In fact, the actress from James Bond No Time to Die, her name, Ana de Armas, technically should have been Catwoman. And just by looking at her eyes and her shape of her face, imagining her in the Catwoman outfit, she probably would have been the better choice. Side note, did you know that Ben Affleck was dating her, and for some odd reason, Ben Affleck dumped her to go out with a 50-some-year-old J-Lo? I'll never understand that. And also in this scene, you can hear Catwoman say, I can take care of myself. Yeah, I'm sure. You know what Batman should have done after she said, I can take care of myself, I don't need you? He should have pushed her off the building, have her falling like 50 stories, and then have him jump after her, catch her, and then land and be like, can you take care of yourself now? So this shot right here is cool, but you can tell, look how skinny she looks. And I don't mind that she cut her hair because she wears different wigs to have different identities. So I'm fine with that. Okay, now you have Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and the makeup job is freaking awesome. There's only one complaint I have about Colin Farrell as the Penguin, and that is this part right here, when you can actually hear him talking in his voice, and it's super Italian mobbish, like Sopranos vibe, like almost a little bit too cartoonish. Like I'm waiting for him to say, give me some gabagool. Every freaking Batman movie has the mob as the villain. When the first Batman in 1989 happened, it was okay to have mobsters as villains. Even in the 90s, the mafia was prevalent, and you had John Gotti and all that, great. You had the Sopranos, even in Christopher Nolan's Batman, with like Falcone still being a part of the mob in the middle to late 2000s. But now we're in 2021 and we're still dealing with the mob? Doesn't anybody find that kind of strange? And I know it's supposed to be based on the comic books, but see right here, you have the Riddler live streaming one of his kills to go along with the current times we live in now, social media culture. Why not update the villains to not be in the mob? Now we have this scene right here with Batman. He's trying to figure out all the clues. We kind of saw this already in other Batman movies, but this movie's supposed to focus a lot on the detective work. If you ever seen one of the best TV shows of all time, at least the first season of True Detectives, if Matt Reeves can make this movie kind of like that TV show, it's gonna be epic. This is a really good shot right here. Batman looking over of Gotham. And what I hope Matt Reeves does, somehow either builds or uses CGI that looks really realistic and creates an actual Gotham City, as opposed to Christopher Nolan just using existing New York City or Chicago or whatever else, and you could just see that it's not really Gotham City. I don't know the relationship that Batman and Catwoman are gonna have, but I just hope it's not like your typical woke, like Catwoman gonna like guide Batman and help him with his emotions, and he's gonna try to help her, but she's gonna be like, I don't need no Batman to take care of me. And I noticed her nails right there. Now if her nails are real and she tries to scratch you, wouldn't that just like rip her nails from her fingers, as opposed to like Michelle Pfeiffer that actually had clothes that slipped on? And I noticed that Catwoman doesn't have her mask on, so how is she Catwoman without her signature mask or ears? Or Batman has his mask on, she doesn't know who he is, but he knows instantly who she is. And if anybody sees her other than Batman jumping from building to building in this outfit, they're gonna instantly be like, well, that's Catwoman, and we know who she is. She's the daughter of the mobster, whatever. Okay, let's talk about this scene right here. Everybody's review or breakdown, just like mine at first, was like, oh my god, this is amazing. And it is, but when you think of the logic behind this, is Batman supposed to be like Iron Man? I thought this was supposed to be like a year 1, year 2, where Batman is just getting the hang of things and all his gadgets aren't fully updated. They're very gritty and basic and put together. And I know what everyone keeps saying, like, well, why'd you just shoot him in the face? Aim up 2 inches and shoot him in the face. I get it. They've been saying that same thing since the first 1989 Michael Keaton Batman. If you had something covering his jawline, then it wouldn't look like the iconic Batman suit with the cowl and just his mouth so he could breathe and talk normal. So that's why they don't cover his mouth, and that's why villains don't aim at his face, because the movie would be super short and every Batman that ever existed would have been killed on day 1. So in this case, we gotta suspend disbelief, just like with Superman and the glasses when he has on. You don't know he's Superman, but then he takes them off and then he's Superman. I get it. It's just something we have to deal with, okay? He's supposed to be stealthy, using the shadows, but he don't give a fuck right now. He's just walking through bullets and knocking these guys out. still one of the coolest scenes I've ever seen, even though it technically doesn't make any sense. You get the Batmobile. Some people don't like it because it's like too primitive. It just looks like a muscle car, Mad Max. But I say, so what? Mad Max is freaking cool. And again, if in the sequel he builds a more iconic looking Batmobile, then fine. Then starting off with this makes sense. Okay, this scene right here, I have no idea what's going on. But if this is the cops being led by Batman into the sewers, into some Riddler's trap, then we already saw this in The Dark Knight Rises, with all the cops being led into the sewers and getting trapped, which was one of the dumbest scenes I've ever seen. And then we have like a car chase scene between Batman and Penguin, and the Penguin thinks that he like blew up the Batmobile and got Batman. And then you see this right here where the Batmobile flies out of the explosion, and again, we've seen this before. Maybe this chase scene and action scene will be so unique, but right here, like, basically happened every Batman movie with a car chase and the Batmobile jumping through flames. And the thing I've heard from all the different breakdowns, that this Matt Reeves guy is very close friends, if not a disciple, of none other than J.J. motherfucking Abrams, or Jar Jar Abrams. And if that's the case, then I'm kind of worried now that this movie, The Batman, might be another Force Awakens where it's a shot for shot in the original movie. And I'm not down for that, alright? I want to see something new, something unique, a different spin. And I know you have to follow the comic books, but you don't have to use the exact same storylines that have been used in every other Batman movie. There's so many different storylines, so many different Batman comics that haven't been used yet. But let me know what you think of the trailer rewatching it again. Is it still as amazing as the first time? Or does it start to look like it's having some flaws? So thanks for watching. Till next time, see you next video.